All right, let's get started. Bro, back in Dubai, back in Dubs. Dub.
Big Dubs.
How are you? You okay, bro?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Alhamdulillah, I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm absolutely fantastic.
Good flight?
Which, by the way, fantastic is fantastic in German,
Nice.
I believe. Kaya, I just got an important, this is really rude, but I've got this thing, a notification that just came in that I've been waiting for 3 days.
Okay.
It's the notification that you know about. In fact, the notification that you triggered a few days ago. So I've literally just got to make a quick thingy-majiggy
Okay.
so that everything
Wow,
is
you
good.
weren't lying. It really is rude. Okay.
It is rude, yeah.
Fine.
But I'm going to be done and I can't bother to restart the episode. So I'm going to...
These are the authenticity people tune in for.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Done. Bro, done.
There you go.
Done. Done.
There
I
you
don't
go.
know if I did it right. It's such a big, important thing, but I just... yeah.
Yeah,
like,
whatever.
I'm just like...
Inshallah khair.
sent $1 million to
Yeah.
the wrong account. No, I'm joking. All right, so... Yeah, I'm back in Dubai. You're in Dubai. We're back in person together. Feels
are.
great.
Alhamdulillah.
Feels sunny.
Yeah.
Feels vitamin D. It
You
feels
get-
like, hey, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You
what it feels like.
You get a Dubai high, innit? When you come back, for some reason, that drive back from the airport to your house,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, mate, it's like...
That stop off at
Come on.
McDonald's.
Yeah, mate, honestly.
I've got to tell you guys a story. The funniest thing happened. So basically,
Should we tell the story?
yeah, we have to tell a story. It's a sick story. So basically, we're driving back, right? And it's fine, bro. The story's completely fine. So we stop off and Kai grabs me. So Kai picks me up from the airport. I landed this morning 6:30 a.m. That's why I'm a bit bunged up because I've got altitude in me, you know, like the ear thing and all that kind of stuff. But hopefully a bit of sleep and I'll be fine. Kai picks me up from the airport 6:30 a.m. May Allah bless you. We stop off for some food. The guy is like non-Muslim and he's like the guy who's serving our food. And he's like, oh, so like, what do you do on Eid? Is it still Eid? And Kai was like, yeah. And you know, we do celebrations and stuff like that, and the guy's like, oh, do you like see family? And Kai was like, yeah, we see family. And then the guy goes, oh, so it's like so bear in mind the guy's not Muslim, and he goes, oh, so it's like similar to our celebrations, it sounds like. And Kai goes, yeah, similar. And then like rolls out the window, he goes, but ours is based on the truth. And it was just like the timing of it was just hilarious. It was sick. I rate that. I was like, that's a story I'm gonna figure out the best way of telling that story, and I'm gonna like tell that story. That's like that's gonna go in my pocket as one of my go-tos. I have another go-to story that I love telling, which is it comes up in any conversation when we speak about the Arabic language. So when we were studying Arabic many moons ago, there's a word in Arabic which is majnoon, which means crazy. So a person who is majnoon, that person, the pen is lifted from that person, for example. Because and what we mean by that is that if that individual may not be accountable on Day of Judgment for their actions because they are majnoon. They're insane is the actual translation, right? Because they're in insanity, they're not accountable for what they do. I think there's 3 types of people, if I'm not mistaken. The insane, the person who is sleeping, and the child. I believe it's those 3 categories. And so insane in that context means majnoon, right? So, however, in English language, right, so basically what happens is we're in Arabic, and what would used to happen is a teacher may like be a bit, Onali, our good friend Onali, was text messaging one of our teachers during the week before the weekend, and the weekend is when we have our classes. And the teacher wasn't replying to him. Now, in the past, what has happened is, as a form of discipline, sometimes the teacher may not reply to you as a form of... different teachers have different forms of discipline, and it might be like you're slacking, you need to know that you're slacking, and so the way you'll know it is if the ni'mah is removed of, like, for example, being able to have your Quran class or whatever, right? So that happened to me once, where my teacher didn't like, he was like, not avoiding me, but like it was hard to get in class with my teacher. I was like, why? And essentially, like, we weren't paying for our Quran or like Quran classes, and so like the payment really is like the hard work, and the teacher's putting in the effort. You have to be putting in the effort, and I think the teacher saw me slacking. I'm going off on a tangent here, but it's good for context. And so finally, I like got my teacher like at one point, because my teacher would still have a good relationship with me, but anytime it was about like Quran classes, like it just wouldn't happen. Right. And so eventually, I like cornered my teacher. I was like, "Why are we doing the lessons?" And he was like, "We'll have a discussion." And then like he came to my house for dinner, and we spoke, and he's like, "Look, you need to fix up." And so because that is kind of a norm with our teachers, again, can work differently for different teachers, a teacher hadn't been replying to Onali during the week. It wasn't a Quran teacher, it was actually our Tarbiyah teacher. And which is actually makes it even funny because Tarbiyah is like when you learn manners and character. And we were, but the asl of this school, this institute, was that we were studying Arabic language. And Tarbiyah was just like an additional part of it. And so the guy hadn't responded. So Onali texted the sheikh, yeah? So Only in class said to the sheikh that day that when we kind of went in, he was trying to say to the sheikh, like in the UK language, you would say, like, "Oh sheikh, like, are you upset with me? Are you mad at me?" Yeah.
Okay.
And so you can see where this is going.
Yeah.
And so obviously our Arabic even now is limited, yeah. And so Only said to the sheikh, yeah, he said, "Sheikh, hal anta majnoon?" Like, are you crazy? Are you insane? He was trying to say like, so that's like one of my go-to stories as well.
That's good.
That's a good story, right?
Yeah. What did the sheikh reply? Do you know?
I think he's laughing.
He must have
like,
laughed
he knows,
at it,
like,
yeah.
we know it, so he knows like what he meant, but it's just like
Yeah.
hilarious, yeah.
That's jokes, man.
Anyway, man, let's get started, man. Like, I'll let you drive with this for now.
All right, business. So we had a couple notes in our ENAT doc,
Yeah.
but I wanted to do what I just said just before we started because I just had the idea, right? So whoever's like keeping tabs on what we're doing with Wasia, which is basically like payment plans but made permissible because there's no late payment fees involved, right? Which is a riba clause.
Which has been replaced with non-financial penalties, or like not even penalties, like
Yeah, it's in a sense like
non-financial penalties.
disincentives, if you will. Incentives? I think penalties is fine. Anyway, point being, with a lot of these payment plans that you get, right, Klarna, for example, where it's like buy now, pay later, there's late payment fees associated with if you miss one of those payments to them, right, which makes it impermissible. Someone should come along and do the exact same thing, but not having late payment fees, and either figure out a different form of penalty or just no penalty, but figure out a different way to sort of protect the company, right? I think there's a massive... I know for a fact I don't use those other things because of those clauses. And I'm pretty sure, again, we've seen sort of evidence from this from Muslim Immobilier, the French company who has tapped into that in the French market. People who are waiting for property investment without these late payment fees, they're smashing it, Alhamdulillah. So there's definitely a big group of people who would be interested in that when there's no late payment fees involved. The only issue is you've got to figure out what that penalty would be. But I feel like it's like these buy now pay later things, they're waiting to be disrupted, and I think that's how somebody can disrupt them.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, if basically these buy now pay later schemes, which a lot of people don't know, can be impermissible if they are charging fines for late payment fees.
Yes.
And so come in and do what Wasia did. Now, what I find interesting is that just before the mic went on, I was like, yeah, bro, sick idea. But now that we're speaking about it and the camera's on me,
Yeah.
so my
you
brain
want to
is
call me
switched
out?
on. Yeah, I'm going to call you. No, what I've just thought about is actually, even if you can halalify that, is it still halal? Is it, you know how like there's halal and there's tayyib? So there's like permissibility, but then there's like really doing something at good quality. And are we, by making this even more accessible, being a cog in the machine of perpetuating a culture that is a culture of getting in debt and instant gratification? Here's why I say it. I think you and I, what we know is that we have completely different personalities. And I think that you have the maturity and the financial discipline to use a service like that as and when you need it, where it can be used to your leverage and to your advantage, the buy now, pay later stuff. Whereas me, I was going to use the buy now, pay later thing to buy my gym equipment. And I didn't, because just as I added everything to the basket, and then I found, and it's something in my head went, oh, like, let me look into the late payment fees or like the clause, and I found out it had late payment fees. I was like, oh, it's not permissible for me, I won't get it. But had that been permissible for me, I would have got it. And now that I'm like, you know, a year later or whatever, I can look at it in hindsight and say that would have been a really bad idea for me to like buy gym equipment on a 6-month plan just because I can't wait to spend X amount of thousands of pounds on gym equipment, which again, like, if you can't afford it, you don't need it. Gym equipment is not keeping me alive. And I told myself this whole story about, no, it's like keeping me healthy, and I can avoid going to free mixing gyms, and all of that stuff is true, but not true enough to get into debt.
Right.
So I think like there's that personality thing.
I like that. That's a very good point. if you're going to go down this route of like making a inshallah Sharia compliant company, what you said is like needs to be taken into account. So yes, it'll be inshallah technically permissible, but then how can we add to that and make it, as you said, tayyib, right? Maybe a policy could be for the company. All right, Faisal Charge, we've got your data. We know you're doing a buy now pay later for your gym equipment. You're on our books for that. You're only allowed to do 2 at a time. So we're not going to go and give you like, oh, you're on like 6 plans with us, and like, you know, you're paying us like £400 a month across these 6 plans. No, people are only allowed to be on 2 at a time or 3 at a time maybe, and that way you can try to like, you know, make it inshallah not a culture of like, yeah, just everything you buy, just put it on a debt.
So it has Islamic ethics basically.
Inshallah,
yeah.
Or you could also do things. It's got to be, you know, only 2 at a time, and it's also got to be over a certain amount, right? So if it's like 50 quid, it's like no, you shouldn't be doing buy now pay later. If it's that, either buy it or like don't get into this culture of like every little thing you buy, it should be like that. If it's like, okay, you're buying a £800 bed, for example, fine. I can understand why you want to do that. But if it's like small, £20 here, £30 here, I just want to spread that across just because I can. You're right, I agree. That's going to play into this culture of like getting into debt for almost no reason. So we could do that as well. Could do like minimum spend as well as maximum amount of plans at a time.
Maybe you could also have some kind of score that's kept, like a credit score almost, but like specifically for that company. And so but it like super strict. So it's like, look, you've missed a couple payments, enough for us to be like, this probably isn't good for you from an ethics perspective. Because most people who will do that probably will just stick to payments and stuff. But I think it's kind of like how things work in Dubai, which I think is amazing, which is that just things are super strict and therefore people follow the rules. Yeah. I think there needs to be more of that. Yeah. So that's always like is there such thing as a macrocosm?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, there is now.
Yeah, there is now. Yeah, that's a macrocosm of like what we could do on a smaller scale. Yeah.
I love that. The credit score, and again another like form of penalty, because again we don't do monetary penalty. What other penalties could be there is like, I don't want to miss a payment. Maybe if you do miss like 2 payments, again similar to like what Wes is doing, your payment plan is cancelled and you owe the money now, but then also you're banned for a year.
Yeah, you owe the money now. If you can't pay it, we take the the gym equipment, we auction it. You get back whatever's there, or some kind of fair.
That would be tough because it's like you have to send bailiffs and stuff. That could get messy. I think
send the bailiffs.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in some situations that have to be case. Like let's say someone's doing it for a car. It's like
I suppose there's a level at which you would just pass it on to debt collection agency.
Yeah, there is. You're probably right. Which again, we have to look into. I have not by any means looked into permissibly all these different things.
No, I like the idea.
So it's just an idea at this point, and someone needs to vet this properly with shuyukh. But yeah,
we should throw this idea into the freshly grounded Idea Lab community, the freshly grounded community in the Idea Lab section, and see what people think about the idea.
100%, we should do that. But yeah, I think like banning people as an incentive or disincentive to not pay late as well. So it's like, okay, because people will want to use, if it's like permissible, inshallah, people will want to like, okay, for sure, I can put a couple of things a month on that, and that's fine. But if it's like, you missed a couple of payments, like you're banned for a year, it's like, that's actually like going to hit people quite hard.
It's also easy to convince the big players in the retail world to jump on board with you, because you can just go to them and say, look, give us a contract. The Muslim pound is, 20 billion pounds a year. And there's all this spending that you're missing out on. The thing is, though, the sad thing is that a lot of Muslims do use a lot of these services. Probably a lot of them not because they know about it. I didn't know about it, bro. Like even for me, for a long time, bro, I had no idea about this like payment fees thing. It just seems, all right, cool, yeah, why not? I'm paying late. I pay a fine for paying late.
I only knew because I come across a contract with it, and I was just vetting the contract just like because I was vetting it, and it was like, let me just see what the shulk said about this, and it's like, wow, that invalidates the whole thing. So
you know what I found interesting, bro, and I know that we are very conscious of going into Islamic like knowledge, but I'm going to talk about this, and then if we get corrected, alhamdulillah, like the haqq is the haqq. But what I'm gonna go into, because I did obviously speak to one of the shuyukh about it and stuff, and I've researched like this kind of sofa ideas, so I'll touch it lightly so that I don't hopefully get into any dangerous topics here. But something I think that I found surprising with regards to just money and finances is the issue of not getting yourself into a riba contract, even if you don't feel like you're going to get to riba, which was surprising for me. So let's talk about it at a really basic level so that we're not getting into any like dangerous territory here in terms of like
Credit cards.
speaking of. Well, credit cards is one, but let's talk about something even simpler, which is like, let's say you buy a sofa on a 12-month plan. So a sofa costs $3,000, you can't afford it, you think, oh, I'm going to buy it for 12 months. They're like, yo, if you pay it within 12 months, it's interest free. After that, it's interest, but pay it within 12 months, no interest. A lot of us would go into that contract, go, all right, cool, I'll just pay it off within 12 months, it's interest free, it's not haram. What I didn't realize is that it's not permissible to enter a contract of riba.
Yeah.
And so just by entering the contract, even if you think you're going to pay it off in 12 months, it's, the permissibility becomes sketchy because of the fact that you're entering a contract of riba. And you don't know if, like, for example, you don't know if COVID's going to happen, and then you saw big CEOs having to go to food banks to be able to afford food. And then so you think you pay, and it just takes one bad month or something to happen unexpected. Bro, like a funeral happens or something, and like you got bear the cost, and then all of a sudden you go into the 13th month, now you're paying interest. So I think a lot of people have stuff like, whether it's credit cards for the perks or like buy sofas interest free, and actually they're entering contracts of riba thinking it's permissible because they're technically, quote unquote, not actually gonna fall into the riba implications. Again, it's worth checking all of the, I've been humbled too many times in the religion for me to like say this as haqq, but like if you do the research and the shuyukh that we spoke to and asked about this, entering a contract riba is impermissible. There might be nuances, I don't know, but yeah, it's always worth, like, don't ever go to freshly grounded for your Islamic knowledge, but like that is something that I think is worth saying, because there's probably a lot of listeners out there who, like me, didn't even think about that, like, oh wait, hold on a second, I'm paying this off, and I'm thinking, oh, it's all good because I'm paying it off with no interest, but actually it is an interest-based contract. There's interest implications in the contract.
That's right. Another thing, and again, the late payment thing. So in that 12 months, they say it's interest-free, but if you look at the terms and conditions, but if you miss a payment in that 12 months, they are going to charge you a fee. Fair. So when I first come across this, one thing that, like, if anyone is struggling to understand this, imagine the contract said, if you miss a payment or if you go over 12 months, you're agreeing to eat a pork sandwich, or you're agreeing to have a swig of alcohol. You'd be like, oh no, what? I would never even potentially agree to that.
Yeah, of course.
So, but bro, this is riba.
Wow, that's a really good way of looking at it.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, if you think, oh, but I'll just pay it off and it'll be fine. It's like, but bro, you'd never agree to even potentially, maybe even 0.01% maybe put yourself in a position where you have to eat, or you agree to eat a pork sandwich or drink alcohol. This is riba.
Yeah, bro, that's a really good way of looking at it. Bro, it's important to look at things in this way.
So,
good discussion.
Yeah, we'll leave it there.
I like that, man. All right,
good episode, no.
On the EDAP dot.
I want to talk about the Reddit. In fact, you talk about your cold emails.
Okay, yeah. I think the Reddit thing, like, if we don't end up getting a chance to speak about it, it's fine.
Yeah.
I do want to speak about also this sugar situation.
Fine.
Shall I go to that first?
I mean, we are scientists.
Yeah, exactly. Now, like, we're starting to drop knowledge on everything. All right, fine. So let's go over this.
What are your thoughts on aspartame?
Is that how you pronounce it? Because I was going to ask you that.
I think so.
Was it aspartame?
I think it's aspartame. I think so.
Aspartame. Is there a way of like finding out how to pronounce aspart? Because it's spelled aspartame.
Oh, is it?
Here you go.
Oh yeah, you're right. I didn't even know that.
Bro, they got it here.
Go on.
Aspartame. You're right.
There
Aspartame.
Yes.
Okay, so guys, forgive me for being a bit bunged up. I know it's been a couple episodes I've been like this. Okay, aspartame. So there's this substance. A lot of people say how are sugary drinks like Coke Zero, Diet Coke, stuff like that sugary. People say there's sweetener in it. This is complete bro talk that I'm talking right now. I've done no prior research on this, but I've been one of those people that's like, oh, it's sweet, but it's no sugar, it's all good. Kareem like hates that because he's like, bro, this is like even worse. So here's what's come out recently. Apparently, one of the main substance, is called aspartame, which, by the way, you're right, it is spelled that. I don't know why I spelled it wrong.
It can't, for me, aspartame as well, though, when I Googled it.
No, it's not, because I missed an A. Okay, right.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Here, let me just read the article straight. So this article's of Charter. It says, the World Health Organization is set to label aspartame, an artificial sweetener found in many diet sodas, chewing gums, and many other products, as a, quote, possibly carcinogenic to humans, end quote. The report could prove controversial. Aspartame has been approved for consumption in the US since 1974, originally for use as a tabletop sweetener, before finding its way into many diet drinks as America began to watch its consumption of sugar. Indeed, perhaps surprisingly, Americans have been cutting down their sugar intake for the last 20 years. Data from USDA, which is what, United States Department of...
Food and Drugs?
It's USDA though.
Oh, USDA, I don't know. I thought it was...
United States Department...
USDA.
Of Americans reveals that per capita consumption of sugar is reduced. Fine. So anyway, the widespread use of aspartame and other artificial sweeteners is easy to understand. The Food and Drug Administration estimates that aspartame is roughly, listen to this, bro, 200 times sweeter than table sugar.
Oh wow.
Other products are even sweeter. Sucralose, the non-nutritive sweetener found in Splenda, is estimated to be 600 times sweeter than table sugar. The FDA's definition of what is safe and acceptable daily limit of artificial sweeteners is high, according to its guidelines. And according to its guidelines, an adult weighing 150 pounds would have to consume around 18 cans of zero sugar soda a day to experience severe negative health effects. Man, that's crazy. Right. So basically, everybody who... We know this. Everybody who goes... I am the guy who drinks Sprite Zero.
Right.
And I have people in my life who go, that's awful for you. And guess what? I've always known they're right.
Yeah.
This just proves it. Of course. Like, you got all of these... Anything that has all of these different ingredients, there's no way it's good for you. And that's just facts. But, you know, you look at it and you go, 0 calories, 0 sugar. All right, there's no sugar, there's no calories. They know how to get you and you drink it. But, yeah, the World Health Organization are going to label it as, or potentially labeling it as, possibly carcinogenic.
Let me give you
to humans. What does carcinogenic mean?
It means it can create cancer in your body.
Wow.
Yeah. Let me give you the other side of the fence. Yeah. Also, the World Health Organization has previously put in the same category, and I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong or anything like that, but it's just interesting to know. They previously put pickled vegetables in the same category.
Really?
So just that's worth bearing in mind. It doesn't necessarily mean
that is huck.
Yeah,
but I mean, this is probably,
and it probably is.
It's probably only going to benefit if you stop having Diet Coke.
Yeah, I mean, I personally avoid all these sweet sugars. I just think it's just like weird, like they're man-made ingredients. Almost certainly not going to be good for your body.
Yeah,
natural is always better, right? So I always avoid it anyway. So I'm not even one of those guys who drinks it. So I'm arguing for it because I love to drink. I don't even drink that stuff. But that is worth knowing. And again, you've got to probably have a lot of it to make it have an impact. You know, just don't have it. But it's probably not going to kill. Also, bro, everything's going to kill you anyway. Don't worry about it too much. If anyone's worried about it...
That's bad advice.
No, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's bad advice because, again, I'm saying avoid it because, like, natural's better. Yeah. So that's my advice.
I have it, obviously, like, you know.
Oh, horrible advice. Yeah. But my feelings when I read this stuff, it's always like, bro, okay, that's nice to know. And yes, I would decrease that, but it's nothing to like get anxious about because it's like, bro, like the air we breathe every day all around the world that's like slowly killing you anyway. You're gonna die.
Do you think
Don't worry about
that it's better to have sugar than to have these sweeteners? Let's say you have a full fat Coke or Diet Coke, and they're your only two options. What's better?
Yeah, here's the thing: if you're going mad on sugar and you're drinking like 4 or 5 cans a day, I would say go for the sweeteners in your attempt to get off the sodas.
But if it's 600 times sweeter than sugar, is that not worse?
No, because that's the way it tastes like. It doesn't mean it's got that much sugar in it. It tastes sweeter, but it's just a different acid. Amino acid is what it's made out of, right? So it's just a case of like, is that amino acid going to impact your body in different ways? Like we know sugar is very bad for your body, right? Especially in high doses like that. Is this different? And that's confirmed, like no doubt about that. So this one is a question mark over it. Is this one impacting your body in the same way that sugar does? Question marks. Again, they put like pickled vegetables in there. So they're doing the research. Maybe in a year or two's time, it'll be confirmed that definitely like avoid this stuff. And in which case, we should avoid it.
The safe thing to do is like we know it's not.
Safe thing to do.
It's not benefiting you.
No. So my advice is you shouldn't be like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna stick to sugar from now on forever. Or I'm gonna stick to aspartame from now on forever. It's like actually just stop drinking this stuff like daily. Maybe once a week, drink one of them, like 1 can, and like that's it. Like moderate your drinking, bro. You shouldn't be drinking enough. Here's my advice. Scratch what I said before. You shouldn't be drinking enough cans of drink for this even to concern you. That's what I want to say. You should be drinking it so sporadically and so like few and far between that it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter that much because you're not even drinking that much of it.
Also, I think that there's a good way, a good thing that one can do. Again, we're having bro talk here. A good thing that one can do is just make alternatives at home that are still probably bad for you, but not as bad. Like, for example, you get a milkshake when you're out. Yeah. Just rather than getting a milkshake out, a banana milkshake, which they're gonna have that heavy cream, they're gonna have the milk, they're gonna have the ice cream, the banana, yeah, exactly, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh, I do fancy, bro. Do you know what I fancy? A Five Guys milkshake, peanut butter milkshake.
A zero sugar,
zero sugar, Five Guys peanut butter milkshake. Just make it at home, like with banana and milk, and put it in the NutriBullet. At least you've seen it be made, and you know you can control the amount of sugar you put in it. And stuff. Maybe it's a bit better than like when you see some.
For sure, it is 100%. I went to Lulu's the other day.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
I got their banana. You know where they do that fresh juice area.
Yeah.
Banana and peanut butter milkshake.
Oh, that sounds good.
And I'm pretty sure it had no sugar. It was branded like very natural. It was very nice.
What was it from Barakat? Or like
no, it wasn't branded like that. It was actually Lulu's like juice man making it.
Oh, sick.
So that's probably even better. It was like he didn't have like bare chemicals there. He just literally put banana and thing in it and just put it on the ice tray. So
one thing that surprised me that you educated me on is when you go to restaurants and you ask for fresh juice, sometimes they put sugar in it. Yeah. And I didn't know that because I'm so trusting of people. I'm like, is this orange juice fresh? Like, yeah. Obviously, they're right. Like, I didn't ask if there's sugar or not in it. So they bring me fresh orange. I'm like, this is amazing. And it tastes good. And I'm getting like a fresh orange. And you're like, this is like, what's bad about this? And then when you were like, one time we went out to a restaurant, you were like, hey, do you put sugar in your oranges? They were like, yeah, like 2 tablespoons. You're like, okay, I'll have mine without sugar. I'm like, no way. Like, have I just been asking if it's fresh and actually not realising that a lot of people put sugar in it?
Do you know why? Do you know how I knew that? When I first moved here, or whatever, a few months after being here, I went to get pomegranate juice, late one night, I fancied it. And I see the guy making it, and I'm thinking it should be pomegranate. I've only asked for pomegranate juice, right? So I see him making it, I'm watching him. He gets not a teaspoon, bro, a tablespoon of sugar, and just dunks it in. And then he turns to me and says, do you want more sugar?
Wow.
And I was like, sorry?
Yeah.
I was like, Rob, you just put a tablespoon of sugar in there.
It's tablespoon, yeah.
So, and he was going to put another one. He already had it ready. He just waited for my green light.
Mazzoli.
I'm like, bro, that's so much. It's only like a small bottle. So that's when I realised what I asked. Previously, I asked them, no sugar. It come out, it still tasted kind of sweet. I said, are you sure there's no sugar? He's like, I'll put honey in it. And the honey they use.
Honey sugar, yeah.
The honey they use is basically just sugar, yeah. This is turning into like a health podcast, but
especially because us two are like so not knowledgeable about health.
Yeah, I feel like the thing is, I'm really not good at keeping up with my health. So I try to do these like hacks where, again, like I make a decision once and then like it will benefit me later on, even though I'm very lazy and I'm very like not proactive in this stuff. For example, from way back, I said to myself, I'm not going to drink like fizzy drinks much. Like very, very rarely I'll drink it. Another thing was like, if I'm buying honey, I'm going to actually buy the proper honey, not the squeezy.
Where can you buy proper honey? I want to buy some.
Right, all the Carrefours, all the Lulus have it. You know those stands?
Yeah.
You've seen them with big glass pots of honey.
Yeah, but people say that even in supermarkets, even if it says legit honey, like it's not legit honey. Like the best way to get legit honey is like go to a person who has a bee. Yeah,
you can do that as well. So I've got a farm in Hatta who gives you real honey as well. I'll give you the number. I'm gonna order
Do they deliver it?
Yeah, deliver it.
Where's Hatta?
Like an hour drive in the mountains.
So how would they deliver it?
We've got cars.
Wow, for an hour. Maybe they just do like loads of jobs.
I'm
down for that.
But in the supermarket it's legit. Not the shelf stuff. I don't say go for the shelf stuff. But the glass, there's always a stall where I've got someone there with like 6 big vats of honey, and it's like different ones from Pakistan, ones from India, ones from Yemen.
It's probably still better than the jug ones, at least the ones that are just like pre-packaged.
100%. No, these are legit. You can see that it's legit. You can taste that it's legit. It's real honey.
I'm gonna buy that.
And I get the Sidr honey, which is like the best. Sidr honey and Manuka honey is like the best honey you can get. And Sidr honey, I get it from India or Pakistan. It's mad. It's like quite cheap for what it is. I get a 250 gram jar for like 70. It's like 50, like £10, which is still expensive, but for good honey, Sidr honey, that's cheap.
Is Sidr the one that hadith is about? There's like a hadith about a type of honey where it's like a cure for everything or something.
Allah knows best. I don't know. But we can research that.
But there's black seed is a cure for everything except death, right?
Yes.
Oh, but why don't I incorporate more black seed?
Yeah.
Where can you get black seed?
Bro, I need to renew my black seed. So next time, come with me. There's a place in Barsha near Mall Emirates. he literally cold presses it there in front of you because you can see the seed becoming oil.
Really?
Nothing extra.
But how do you know, like, I don't know, man, I have distrust with these things because, like, with commodities like that are so...
it's like virtual reality in it behind it. It's like bare oils.
You just think to yourself, like, I remember hearing an article or something about, it wasn't here in Dubai, it was somewhere else, but it was like people selling, like, maybe like people selling like oil, saying it's argan oil, but really it's like the smallest bit of argan oil mixed with like loads of water. Yeah. It's like, so I just like, all right, I want black seed, but I just want to get legit black seed.
Yeah, this guy, I mean, again, you see him.
I'm going to go with you. I want to get some black seed.
He literally cold presses it in front of you. So he's literally got black seeds and he's got a big machine, that like cold pressing machine. It's just like, it makes it.
Do you think I could get some black seed from Carrefour?
Yeah, it's legit. It's not fake.
What is it? Just black seed oil?
Yeah, just as long as it says 100% pure, it's legit. But I like to get it from that guy because I can literally see it.
That's true, yeah. Because I need to do a shop, so I might just go to the shops. I don't know if I'm going to go to partial right now.
Yeah, so that one little hack I've got is just like, don't buy the squeezy stuff because literally it's not real honey, or it's a mix of sugar and water. They make it like, and it's not legit. If you leave it in your cupboard, that honey's supposed to get all crystallized and stuff, and then like you just heat it up a little bit and it comes honey again. That never happens to that stuff because it's not legit. It's like fast food honey.
Sunnah Remedies had great honey. Like,
yeah.
Back in the Dizzy. That was really good honey. I used to love that. But I need to get some more of that. I don't know if they still do it. All right, let's move on. So, cold emails. What did you want to...
All right, so I, for some reason, thought about your cold email strategy the other day.
Okay.
Specifically with your first sentence that you say.
Yeah.
Do you remember it?
Yeah.
Talk
of course I know. My first sentence is... my first sentence is...
Don't flex on us.
We haven't met, so forgive cold email.
Yes, that's it. I think it's genius. Where'd you get it from?
Okay.
Because I know you didn't think it up.
Yeah. My cold email template is a conglomeration of many cold emails that I've received or my brother's received, and that I've loved, and I kind of me and Omar have like this habit of like Omar actually stores them away like as inspiration, and I just like put it together with all the different things I loved about different cold emails I received, put it all in one template, and it's pretty much adaptable for anything you can ask for anyone. I've got a great open rate with it. I've got a great response rate with it, and my first line is always, we haven't met, so forgive cold email.
Yes, let me break this down because everyone right now is just like amazed by this. Right? Yeah. In fact, people probably pause the podcast just to take this in. Yeah. We haven't met, right? So what that immediately tells them is that you're being open about the fact that...
You're being open,
Yeah. Most cold emails, like, if anything, they're trying to convince you that you do know them, or they're trying to be extra friendly. So
it's like, hey, so love the last episode of Freshly Grounded. Notice that it's like, you didn't watch last episode of Freshly Grounded.
Or the common one is like, oh, hey, love your content. Yeah. Where it's like, or they could be talking about anything.
Do you know what's funny is when like they will paste the name of your channel as you've written it only on legal documents. So hey, love the content from your channel, Faisal Chowdhury Limited. It's like, that's not what, like, you knew me, like, that's not my channel. Right?
100%. So that's like bad cold email etiquette, right? Whereas what you're saying is, first thing you say is, we haven't met. So again, that disarms them from like the usual cold email stuff.
I also don't say hi.
Okay, interesting.
So it'll be Kaya, we haven't met, forgive cold email.
Okay, interesting. Fair enough. So we haven't met.
But some people advise me to say salam, so sometimes I write salam.
Fine.
I fancy being good.
Yeah. So we haven't met. I think that's genius in and of itself. We haven't met. So forgive cold email. You purposefully get the grammar wrong, quite frankly. So forgive cold email. One, again, almost a disarming. I think it's a disarming tactic. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's just like very casual. It shows that maybe this isn't a template because you haven't like poured yourself every word, making sure, and you copy and paste everybody. It's more like you just read it out. Right. The
other thinking behind removing the word, so what we're doing here is we've removed the word the, so forgive the cold email, I've written forgive cold email. Another reason I do that is that it sets the tone for the email to say, look, this is going to be really quick, no BS, really fast email, straight to the point. I'm not here to waste your time.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It does set that tone, I feel.
It does. I think it's like that sentence is genius because there's so many layers to it. We could be
that wasn't my sentence, though. That's like one of the inspiration from it.
I know, but still, like, you had the
ability to steal.
There you go. What you say? Listen, but I love that.
Thanks, man.
Any other tips for cold email? Because that's a sick way to start an email. 2 more questions for you. Subject lines. Yeah. So because again, they got to open email to even read that. So what's your advice subject lines, and what's your advice for closing an email, the final sentence. Because again, you could go, would love to jump on a call. Do you like to use Calendly? Because there was this, remember there was a debate on Twitter where it was like, oh, Calendly is so rude.
Yeah.
Which I was shocked by. And I think most people were shocked by it and didn't agree with. But the fact that that movement exists out there, that did make me change the way I put my Calendly link, which for context is a link where it's like, it's got my available dates and times that you can book. You can just automatically, on your end, book a call with me. So it basically says that back and forth. Oh, I'm free on this day, this time. Are you? No, I'm not. It says that all back and forth. And they can just go in and click my link and book it with me, and it's done in both our calendars. So I thought that was genius, but there was some pushback at one point where it's like, it's very rude to assume that, I want to just like bend myself to your thing, right? Which I thought was silly, but it exists. So back to the question. Let's start with how do you close out an email?
Okay, so I'm anti-Calendly link. Yeah. yeah. This is done. There is one way I could put a Calendly link. But I definitely want to be like, so here's my Calendly link, like booking a call with me or something. Yeah. I just think that it removes all of the personability of an email,
right.
And you are trying to get this human-to-human interaction, and so then this is like, oh, by the way, like here's an automated thing about speed. So how I end my emails is always, if I want to send a Calendly link, I write the following line: want me to send over time options? Want me to send over time options? At that point, if they respond say then I'll send them a Calendly link. If I say anything. Or if you're really desperate for me to send over a Calendly link,
I am.
then I'll do it as a PS. So want me to send over a Calendly link. So want me to send over time options? Best Faisal. At the end, I'll be like PS. Which, by the way, email hack, always add a PS. Yeah. Wherever you feel like, I really wanted to add this in the email, but it's not fitting for like the story of the email, or it's like we're gonna make the email too long. Add it as a PS. Yeah. So I'll be like Best Faisal, and I'll be like in italic PS. If you're a Calendly guy and it saves you time, here's my link. Just feel free to throw something in there.
I like that.
I'll do that.
I like that a lot.
But now you got both options.
Yeah, the PS thing is genius. Adding that at the end, fine. Want me
to send over time options? Basically, what it does is it gets that person to respond as well.
I guess you're right, but what I love is
now you've got the bait. It's just bait because you just want to see are they interested. The lead's gone a bit warmer.
Yeah, I hear you, but don't you love when you send an email and the next thing you receive is like Calendly invite done?
I feel like that happens rarely. I know for you that happens a lot on automatic.
No, I mean, I'm not saying this happens a lot, but it does.
I feel like it's a bit rarer for me.
Okay, so you remember Tim Ferriss 4-Hour Workweek? I
feel like it's too much commitment as well. Like if I'm outreaching a potential sponsor for Freshly Grounded, they might be interested. It's like, here's Calendly. Like, I'm not ready for that yet. Like it's too much. It's too much commitment.
Of course, there's got to be context with it. I understand that. But again, I want to go back to like 4-Hour Workweek, right? And I know you know this principle as well. Like he basically outlined how to send emails to basically be as efficient as possible. Yeah. So it's like he'll say an email, okay, Faisal, I need you to do this for me. And if this happens, then you just say that. Yeah. But if it doesn't happen, then just come back to me. So he basically gives instructions in that original email. Exactly. So basically it automates a lot of like the task of that person, right? Yes. I feel like the Calendly link does that. And like, and again, there's definitely context to this. There's definitely times where the Calendly will be too forward, or it doesn't match this person's persona to do it, so on and so forth. But I do feel like generally speaking, it automates a lot of it. And I feel like I want to work with people who appreciate that rather than like they're going to want that constant. Because there is a lot of people out there who do want that constant back and forth and that personal thing. That's just quite frankly not really me. I'd rather just like, let's just like, don't talk to me. Just like, let's just work together and not talk so much.
Yeah, I think the solution for you would be to add the PS then.
Yeah, I like it.
I just think, I don't want
So let me tell you how to do it. Because I changed, hearing... After I was shocked that people were offended by it, I did change my wording. Okay, fine. My original wording was something like, here's my Calendly link, and
your originally was, hey, you don't know me and you don't know my services. Want to find out? Here's my Calendly link. Yeah, all you need to know is that you need me.
Yeah. If none of these times work for you, too bad.
Yeah. You need me more than I need you.
Yeah. So my original thing was more like something like I'd give them the pitch, whatever. It was like, if you want to hop on a call with me, here's my Calendly link, and I'd hyperlink that Calendly link. So you could pick you can pick a day and a time that works for you. So cool. Right. But I realized it wasn't really enough. So what I do is I'd still say that, and I'd say, if none of these times work for you, let me know a time that does, and I'll make it work on my end. So I had that extra sentence where it's like, I'm not trying to force you into my calendar. If you got different time that works better, let me know, and I'll make it work.
Yeah, I like that. Just like saying alternatively, you feel free to send over some time options if you want.
I think that sort of alleviate. If someone was to feel offended by my Calendly link, that would alleviate it.
I do feel offended when people send me a Calendly link. Yeah.
Wow.
I just think like, well, you're not gonna put in any effort. You're just gonna throw me a link. Like you're trying to build a relationship with me here. Like you're just throwing me a link. But I don't mind a Calendly link in my second email or third email. But it's like when they first send me an email, they throw me a link. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, yeah.
That's what I don't like about it.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm advocating for it to be in the first cold email.
By the way, you know, I wrote my cold email approach and broke it down. I wrote it as an ebook and I never released it. I should just release it on Gumroad, shouldn't I, for like £5.
More than that.
It's just one cold email.
What you just said is worth more than £5.
Hey guys, if you're interested, comment below and I'll release it.
Yeah, release that for £500.
Yeah, exactly. This cold email will give you millions of pounds.
Yeah. But the thing is,
it probably
true.
has. Yeah,
No,
it's unlocked. This cold email is unlocked for me tens of thousands of pounds.
No, legit. A good cold email strategy is worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to send 1,000 of these cold emails with that strategy and one works, you get a big deal.
Do you know what I have had in the past that I've not been a huge fan of though? I've had people read my cold email, because I released like a version of it. It's always improving. There's a version of it like years ago which had this same first line. I released it on YouTube as like my cold email approach or whatever. And I started like getting an influx of emails from people who like used my exact like email to me. Like they were like, hey, we haven't met, so we can call email.
Weird.
And what it felt like to me is like, I just felt like use it for others, but like for me, you have to also now innovate again, because like that's not gonna work for me, because it's me who's like just given that line, right?
Yeah.
So like the emails that I've received that I really enjoy will be like, do you know what? With regards to cold emails, like the whole thing is quickly establish the nature of the relationship. So that's why it's like by cutting the
hey Faisal, we're best friends.
Yeah, by cutting the slack, like we haven't met, forgive, cold email. It's like, all right, fine. Like this guy's being open and honest. I like that, and like that's because I'm open to it now, because at least he's not trying to pull the wool over my eyes. And then it'll be like. There'll be some context. So the instantly next, you want to give the context as to who you are, but also what you want from that person. Don't save what you want from that person to the end of the email. Yeah. So if, for example, as a podcast guest, I'll be like, my name, so, hey, The Rock, we haven't met, forgive, cold email. Then I need to give really, really quickly context as to who I am, some social proof as to who I am, so like 15 million downloads, whatever, and what I want from you. So my name is Faisal, and I run Freshly Grounded, in brackets, 15 million downloads, close bracket, we feature, this one goes like, we feature like Muslim groundbreakers on the pod.
Yeah.
You're a great fit.
Please transfer us money.
Yeah. You're a great fit. I'd love to have you on the pod or something like that, right? So it's like in the first, that's like one line, but in that line, what I've done is I've told you who I am, established like why I have some value, like 15 million dollars, I'm not like a phony, and what I want from you. I'd love to have you on the podcast. Yeah, that's like another line. So that we only have 3 lines in the email so far. In the email, you've already got established relationship, who I am, social proof. Not social proof necessarily, but like some kind of proof of like value and what I want from you. Then I'm going to. It'd be something like, here's what we would discuss over, 60-minute Zoom call. Bullet points. Bullet points are so important in an email. Boom, boom, boom. If you're interested, and then I'll be like, want me to send over some time options or something like that.
Fine. My next question to you is, because I've got this question before as well, like someone DM me about this. Let's say you don't have 50 million downloads. You don't have anything necessarily as social proof to send over. How do you approach that? Let's say you just started an agency, you ain't got a case study yet.
Grab that, bro.
Yeah. Okay. So back to the topic. If you don't have social proof, you ain't got a case study or like 50 million downloads, how do you like give that social proof if you don't have anything, basically? But
there has to be a way of you doing it, because all you're trying to say is I have some value to give. If you have zero value, don't be sending the email. Because it's not about even if you don't have any subscribers or followers, it doesn't need to be like, you could just be like, we've featured X guest, or anything that makes you special, gives you some kind of accreditation, and that could be anything, bro. Like you'll be able to figure out a way of spinning it with truth, where look, this is the value that I have, and this is why, like, we've done this before. I'm not just like a weird like nobody. That could be like a link. It could be
Yeah.
It could be like I'm X, like if you like from never done it before, but you've like got experience in the field. You could be like, hey, I'm Faisal. Just left my role at Apple as a specialist. It's just like anything that's like I'm someone. I'm not just like I'm not sitting in my basement like.
And even if you are sitting in your basement, what you could do is like whip up a quick Medium blog, and whatever your industry is, put like write 3 articles on it. It's like I write articles about X.
Exactly.
It's like it's something.
It's done. Yeah.
There you go.
Bro, yeah, it was a nice quick episode. Just landed back in Dubai. We got a bunch of stuff that we didn't hit on the ENAT doc, so maybe we could do another episode in this week.
Yep.
We don't have to wait till Friday.
We don't. We shouldn't.
No. And so whenever, bro, whenever you're available, let's do it. Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
you.
Spoke about some good stuff this episode. With that being said,
see you later.
I've been Faisal Chowdhury.
I'm in Kaya Smile.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thanks for that.